Myanmar is currently ranked 172nd out of 176 countries in the Transparency International Corruption Perceptions Index. Corruption is entrenched in business-to-business relations and facilitation payments, colloquially known as tea money in Myanmar. Tea money is often requested by low-level government officials to speed up government services. This can be seen in how the number of car permits has been restricted by issuing officials to encourage buyers to give bribes to them. The regular bribery of court judges and officials to receive favourable results is another major issue, as seen in the case of Dao Cc, the Rakhine state judge accused of taking bribes and misusing authority. The ill effects of corruption, however, are not solely limited to the political and bureaucratic sector. Myanmar is endowed with oil, gas, hydropower and minerals, which are located mainly in the ethnic minority regions that continue to be areas of conflict. However, not much of the billions of US dollars in natural resource revenues is being directed into societal improvement. Additionally, large quantities of timber have been smuggled out of the country across the Chinese border. As a result, the amount of forested land dropped from 47% in 2005 to 24% in 2008, according to Myanmar's Natural Resources and Environmental Conservation Committee. As can be plainly seen, Myanmar is a land with vast resources and potential. It is a pity to see such potential being squandered through the collective greed of those within the system. Now that we've had a sample of what corruption has done to Myanmar, let's see what we can do about it.
Let's take a look at what has been done before in other countries. Despite its vastly different circumstances compared to Myanmar, Singapore has some lessons to offer. Singapore's anti-corruption framework relies on the rule of law. The Prevention of Corruption Act was enacted in 1960 and is the core legal framework for dealing with corruption offences. Punishment for corruption offences carries a strong deterrent effect. A single corruption charge can incur a maximum fine of 100,000 Singapore dollars, or an imprisonment term of up to 7 years, for both. At the same time, a functionally independent anti-corruption agency, the Corrupt Practices Investigation Bureau, effectively acts without fear or favour. The Bureau has the mandate to investigate all corruption offences in both the public and private sectors. In addition, Singaporean ministries adopt a number of initiatives to address and prevent corruption within themselves. These might include regular security vetting of officers. Moreover, an effectively independent state audit office is in place. The Auditor General, who is appointed by the President of Singapore, submits an annual report to the President and Parliament on a proper accounting of public money and use of public resources. This report is made available to the public.
Myanmar can learn 3 main points from the examples above. Firstly, there is a need for reforms in administrative sector to match the rapid rate of development. In the private sector, the government should try to apply best practices from developed countries, including regular auditing and independent monitoring bodies. This is especially important as the budget process also currently lacks transparency and accountability. Also, the government should consider raising salaries in the civil service sector to reduce any temptation to seek alternative sources of income. Secondly, Myanmar should undertake measures to educate its politicians, bureaucrats and civil servants about the consequences of corruption offences. This includes guaranteeing the enforcement and effectiveness of punitive measures for those who flout the law. The law is not a tool to be used by the government for its own benefit. To the contrary, the government should be the tool of the law, applying it in a just and fair manner. Finally, building alliances with various private sector stakeholders can enable the problem to be solved from multiple angles. Collective action calls for cooperation on the parts of government, businesses and civil society. This will increase the credibility and impact of individual action, covers gaps in legislation as well as strengthen anti-corruption action. The involvement of civil society is especially important. A reduction in the level of press censorship and loosening of restrictions on internet access will guarantee a critical source of feedback that will guide Myanmar's leaders, even though such feedback may hurt at times. In conclusion, it must be said that corruption is often endemic, and those within a corrupt system may not even acknowledge how corrupt it is. But if anything mentioned above strikes a chord with you, it might be a signal to take action before it is too late. It is ultimately up to you to decide which measures will work best in the context of Myanmar.